His D plan.
Live from the Lumberyard in Pullman, this is the Cougar Football Hour. Tonight's show is presented by Crimson and Gray. Visit them at 1096 Southeast Bishop Boulevard in Pullman, or find them at every Cougar Football Hour this season. Crimson and Gray, proud supporter of Cougar Athletics. Now, alongside Cougar head coach Jimmy Rogers, here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
Here we go. Welcome into the Lumberyard in downtown Pullman. It is the Cougar Football Hour, and we are so happy to have you join us, whether you are listening in on the Cougar Sports Network, tuned in on Facebook Live, or, of course, our great crowd here at the Lumberyard. A big thank you to everyone being here tonight. And we've got some great guests stopping by as well. We've got the quarterback of the Cougs, Zebie Ehouse, joining us, and offensive coordinator Danny Frey stopping by as well. And here I am next to the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers. Coach, great to see you as always. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming out as well.
Well, here we go. We are getting ready for a road matchup Saturday. The team heading to Charlottesville to take on the 18th ranked team in the country, the Virginia Cavaliers. We will talk about that most recent game. The Cougs were on the road, went into Oxford, and it took the number 4 team in the country down to the wire, 24-21. Ultimately a loss, but Coach, that was a heck of a game there. I know you said afterwards that you couldn't be more proud of the effort. How do you look back on that game with Ole Miss?
Yeah, I think you got to look back and see the plays that you didn't make and say, were they schematical? Was it an advantage them, or did we not just make the plays? And I think at times our effort was awesome, and it allowed us to continue to compete in the game. But there are plays surely that we look back and say, we can make this play. We're better than this. We've already executed this the right way. And so it's hard not to lean into that and say we should have won the game, right? And that was the message to the team, is we had the ability to go down there and compete against one of the top teams in the country. And we didn't execute what we believe that we can do, which is get tough games in tough environments. It was awesome to see all the Coug fans out there. It was an awesome experience. But at the end of the day, the message on Monday morning was it was a great game, and we played we played with great effort. But we can't look at the errors inside of this and not say that we can win these. And don't get caught up in too many good games from the outside when we lost. And if we can get that clear and stop accepting defeat just because we try hard, I think we'll have success long term. And these guys like Zebie are a picture of that kind of pushed that for me. And this place can be special, but we got to believe that we can win in tough places regardless of how far travel is or making excuses for ourselves. So that was kind of my message to the team. That's kind of how I felt afterwards. We should have won that game. And if we believe in it, we could have won the game.
Well said there. How much in a game like that, there's so much that you could break down, and I'm sure you've poured over that film with your coaches and everyone on the staff and everyone on the team, but how much was getting that stop on the opening drive of the game when they decided to go for it inside the 5? It was 4th down, and the Cougs get the stop on defense. How much did that help to set the tone for how that game went?
I think it was a big part of it. Obviously, they kind of had success moving down the field, whether it be tackling or just easy completions and us rallying. But to get them into the red zone and win that down, it was huge because we were able to move the ball in some capacity. And then, we were winning the field position battle back and forth in those situations, in my mind. You're responding from what was a tough drive off the jump. But at the end of the day, we got to be able to execute. There's certain situations inside of that it didn't need to lead to that. It just got down there. I was really proud of the guys, how they responded throughout the game, regardless of what the score was, because there was moments to look at that and be like, here we go, we didn't do that. That's half the battle of having long-term success, is that the people in the building believe that you'll win regardless of the circumstances. And I've been on teams like that, and that's not this one. I think we need to continue to grow and develop, and I don't think that just because you're 6 games in, like the world thinks that you are what you are. I just don't believe in it. So I think that you'll see a competitive product on the field this week, and one that will go out there and expect to win the game.
Kind of building on that point, Ole Miss was able to get some momentum late in that game, and yet the Cougs marched down the field, scored a touchdown, got the defensive stop, got the ball back. Not a ton of time to work with, and ultimately couldn't march down the field and get points. But, I mean, the team had the ball in its hands with a minute to go and a chance to win. That is a heck of a spot to be in.
Yeah, I felt like we, at the end of the game, looking back on it, you always look at, like, how could I have changed or what could have been different. If you go for the onside kick there at 2:48 and we don't get it, they can technically kill at the clock or puts us in a tough situation as far as field position. We would get the ball back, obviously, just with the time if they were to use it all. But it puts you in a bad situation because now you could technically being backed up in that situation because they're already at midfield. So that's why we decided to kick it deep with our hands team. We were hoping that potentially they were to call a timeout if we were to shift and give them a different look to absorb one of them had they had, needed to score in the end if we were to take the lead. So we kicked deep and we had the opportunity to stop them. And we didn't. We kind of broke in coverage and we missed the tackle and the ball got to this damn near the same spot in which the onside kick would have led us to. So we got the ball back in bad situation. I was proud of the defense's response from that point because we were able to hold them. And I think when we called timeout there, or when they called timeout when they were trying to get us to jump off sides, which I believe was 4th and 3 when they had the punt team, or when they had their offense out there as if they were going for it, I could feel the sidelines like believing that we would win. And half the time, that's half the battle. That's what I'm proud of, maybe more than anything, because that takes a lot. And we got to go to Virginia and try to believe the same exact way, regardless of 2 road games in a row. None of that matters. We got to expect to believe to win. And Zebie, who I'll talk about here in a second, is a big part of that.
Well, we are really excited to have him on. Zebie, just a really outstanding performance from him. No turnovers and really strong performance to help to kind of lead the charge in that game against Ole Miss. One of the highlights, not only from that game, but of the season, has been the play of Isaac Terrell. He has been so disruptive for the Cougs on defense. 2 more sacks to his tally. He had 4 tackles for loss against Ole Miss. That's tied for the second most by any player nationally, and it was the most by a Coug since 2017, since Hercules Mataafa had 5 against Utah. His 4.5 sacks, that number stands out. Top 25 in the country. His 9.5 tackles for loss, tied for the 6th most nationally. How has he been able to take this big leap this year and be as impactful as he has been?
I think he spoke about that a lot to the media, just us giving him a shot, believing in him, not taking him off the field if he has a mental mistake or misses a tackle. And I can't speak on what had happened in his his past. But I think when you believe in your players and you put them in situations to be able to respond, they're able to, because you showed them the grace along the mistakes to grow. If we're going to say live in the present, like as coaches, we have to do the same exact thing, and that's sometimes giving players new opportunities to stay in there and compete through their struggles. But he is, since the day I've met him, he's about as focused of an individual that I've been around. He's kind of robotic. He's got a great sense of humor, but he's really robotic about his routine. He probably hates our schedule because at times we're up late at night and up early in the morning, and he probably counts every minute of every day. But he goes out there and he busts his butt and he runs around with his hair on fire, and watch his pursuit. I think his pursuit is more impressive than any type of sack that he can make, because a lot of times he's making the run down tackles, and they may call his name, but you're thinking it's a second level defender. It's Bobby running to the ball, and I think if you can shrink the gap on those that. If you can get more players to play like that, you'll have success defensively, regardless of the scheme.
It's been awful fun to watch him play this year. In that game against Ole Miss, Kirby Voorhees had a 46-yard touchdown run. That's now back-to-back games. Of thinking of an explosive run, what Leo did in the game against Colorado State, what Kirby did on that touchdown run against Ole Miss. How pleased are you with the growth in the ground attack here these last couple of games? Yeah,
we're growing, and there's still room for improvement for sure. But that was like the second or third time that we've had a run like that, and you can see the technique pay off and the things that we try to hammer home to them. And I said this, and I don't know when I said this, but it's hard to build continuity in a game of college football to have like really, really solid, crisp O-line play all the time. I do believe that stems a little bit from the transfer portal. But I think the most important thing is that the guys in the room know that they continue to get better, accept the coaching that comes with it, and then want to improve constantly, that they did this and what can I do next. And I think that group is trying to do that and trying to be like that. And I think that's a recipe for success.
You may mention this previously, but I want to bring it up again. And, the view I have from it is way up in the press box. I want to know what it was like being on the field and feeling the energy that the Coug fans brought and the appreciation that the Coug fans had for the players and everyone with the team after the game.
Yeah, I would say when you're a coach, you're kind of tunnel focused on the game, and so you kind of block out the things that you need to block out. And I never really felt their fans, but we would have a play. You're not used to being in a road game and having that type of volume behind you. It was awesome, and we mentioned it both. And that wasn't pre-planned. That was just when we walked off the field, and although we lost, it felt like we at least made somebody proud in our efforts, and to have that type of fan base that wants to travel and wants to be a part of it. I said it after the post game. We don't just need you when we play in the biggest venues against the toughest of teams. We need you here in Pullman on every Saturday that we play, because the players feed off of it. To say that the players didn't feel the energy, they did. It's part of the reason that you can strain through those times is that you can feel energy. And I thought it was awesome. I thought if we could do that here in Pullman with that type of enthusiasm, the same exact way with a full stadium, how special can that be?
No doubt about it. Looking forward to seeing the Cougs in Charlottesville this weekend. The fans that will be there cheering on the team. And, of course, that next home game, October 25th. Can't wait to see everyone here in Pullman. We will take a time out here on the Cougar Football Hour. More to come with Jimmy Rogers after this break. And then we will have offensive coordinator Danny Frey stopping by. And Zebie Ehouse, quarterback for the Cougs, will be here as well. More after this break. We're live from the Lumberyard in downtown Pullman. This is the Cougar Football Hour on the Cougar Sports Network.
Get game day ready at Rosars. Rosars is a proud sponsor of WSU Athletics and your headquarters for keeping snacks stocked up for game time. You'll find the largest craft beer selection, local and imported wines, and all the makings for your favorite cocktails. And while you're there, stock up on your favorite deli snacks, pizza, rotisserie chickens, and ribs. Don't just watch the game, experience it with your favorite game time foods. Get game day ready at Rosars.
Alliant Employee Benefits is the Inland Northwest leader in employee benefit consulting and brokerage. Alliant is a difference maker, providing employee benefit solutions and problem solving while helping companies grow and protect their business. Alliant keeps its clients on the forefront of the benefit industry's constant evolution while improving the benefits experience for employees through better health outcomes and more cost-effective care. Give Alliant a call and see what they can do for you.
If you use natural gas, you recognize its blue flame. But natural gas is actually invisible and odorless. That's why Avista adds a rotten egg scent, in case there's ever a leak. If you smell natural gas at home, get outside fast. Don't flip switches or do anything to cause a spark. Go somewhere safe. Call 911. Then Avista. We'll take care of the problem and tell you when it's okay to return. Till then, it's a good excuse to visit the neighbors. Avista. We just want you to be safe.
Hampton and Pullman is just a short drive from the WSU campus. They've got you covered for all your lodging and dining needs with the new addition of their on-site bar and restaurant, Crimson Bar and Bites. You will feel right at home with their spacious rooms, famous Hampton waffles, cozy outdoor patios, Cougar gift shop, and the friendliest staff in town. Visit HamptonbyHilton.com to reserve a room for your next trip to the Palouse. Coug owned and Coug managed. It matters where you stay. Hampton and Pullman. Hilton for the stay.
The Lumberyard in downtown Pullman. It is the Cougar Football Hour, and the Cougar Football Hour is presented by Crimson and Gray. Visit them at 1096 Southeast Bishop Boulevard in Pullman, or find them at every coach's show this season. Crimson and Gray, proud supporter of Cougar Athletics. And a reminder, check out the new Inside WSU Athletics podcast. Each week, hear straight from WSU Director of Athletics Ann McCoy on the podcast. Takes fans inside Cougar Athletics with all the latest news and information information, including interviews with Cougar coaches, student athletes, alumni, and staff every week. Find each Inside WSU Athletics podcast episode on the WSU Cougars YouTube page, or download the show and listen on your favorite podcast platform. Those are coming out every Wednesday afternoon each week. Keep your eye out for that. We're back here with the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers, and we've got a loaded show here tonight. We've got offensive coordinator Danny Frey stopping by. We've got Zebie Ehouse joining us. Let's start with Danny Frey. How would you describe what he brings to the team and the coaching staff?
Yeah, I think he's really creative. He does a good job of just like kind of managing the vibes in the room, and really just an overall positive person that works really hard and has had success. He's had success against me or as a staff, defensively trying to stop him. So that was kind of like a couple years ago when I had the opportunity to hire that position. He was one of the first guys that I thought of, just the amount of points that they were able to put up on us, and I always respected that. And so I had an opportunity to meet him years ago, I want to say in Arizona at one point, and then in Minnesota at another time, and then watching him from afar, just either us following them in games and seeing his offense work or actually game planning against them. I always thought it was creative, and he works really hard to try to put the pieces together to say as much same as possible, which I think is really important when you have new nuances in an offense.
And he's not the only coach, right? We've had that kind of conversation a little bit on the Cougar Football Hour, someone that you've coached against. He was at North Dakota. Of course, you were at South Dakota State, and you see what they do, you respect what they do, and then it's probably more fun to have them on your side than on the opposing sideline, right?
Yeah, and then you find out some of the things. I was like, how did you do that? He's like, I wasn't meaning to. I was like, damn it.
He's smiling about that. Oh, that's too funny. Well, and then we have Zebie Ehouse here. Every person is important on the team, but I know having a quarterback who is a leader, who kind of sets the tone, that's a big deal. How would you describe what Zebie, who has played a lot of football, is kind of has that poise, that confidence to him? What does he mean to the team both on and off the field?
Yeah, I think he means a whole lot. When we got here, he's always had great energy. He's always tried to lead and bring people with him and do the right things. And he's one of the first guys in on Sundays to watch the film. And then he works really hard in just his overall preparation. But I would say the biggest thing is his overall confidence in his own ability. He plays with a certain level of moxie on the field, and everybody kind of feels it, how he commands a huddle. And then his ability to kind of create when the plays break down has been special and fun for me to watch this season.
Well, Coach, we'll let you loose. Enjoy some food here at the Lumberyard, and we'll bring you back a little later on as we preview the matchup with Virginia.
Awesome.
Again, that's the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers, joining us here at the Lumberyard in downtown Pullman. It is the Cougar Football Hour, which, a reminder, is brought to you in part by Toyota. Cougar Nation, each time you bring your Toyota vehicle to be serviced at a local and participating Toyota dealership, you can receive a premium Washington State giveaway item as a member of the Toyota Rewards Program. Stay tuned for more information on how to become a Rewards Program member. We'll take a break here from the Lumberyard. When we return, we'll be joined by offensive coordinator for the Cougs, Danny Frey. That's after this. You're listening to the Cougar Football Hour on the Cougar Sports Network.
If we know anything about Cougs fans, it's that a win isn't all you're hungry for on game day. So Northern Quest has a full lineup of restaurants and lounges ready to face any appetite. Cheer on your Cougs with craft beer and cocktails in front of Epic's 10 by 30-foot screen. Grab a steak at Maslow's, a fine cigar at Legends of Fire, or tackle a burger at Fat Burger, before it tackles you. Full menus at northernquest.com. Go Cougs!
You need parts? O'Reilly has parts. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select pads for just $10. Or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Introducing your new Dell PC with the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps you handle a lot, even when your holiday to-do list gets to be a lot. Like organizing your holiday shopping and searching for great holiday deals and customer questions and customers requesting custom things, plus planning the perfect holiday dinner for vegans, vegetarians, pescatarians, and Uncle Mike's carnivore diet. Luckily, you can get a PC with all-day battery life to help you get it all done. That's the power of a Dell PC with Intel inside, backed by Dell's price match guarantee. Get yours today at Dell.com/deals. Terms and conditions apply. See Dell.com for details.
Everybody knows you shouldn't retire until you're 65.
Buying a house? 20% down or nothing, bud.
It's easy. Put your money into savings and never touch it.
There's a lot of questionable money advice out there. For financial knowledge that can help you reach your version of success, come to Gisa Credit Union. We can walk you through everything you need to feel confident about your finances. There's a healthier approach to money. Find it at Gisa Credit Union. Gisa is an equal opportunity lender.
Back at the Lumberyard in downtown Pullman, it is the Cougar Football Hour. A reminder, earn your bragging rights at Northern Quest with more slot machines, table games, restaurants, lounges, and luxury hotel rooms than anyone else in the region. Northern Quest, yes, the best. More at northernquest.com. A reminder, still to come, we'll have WSU quarterback Zebie Ehouse joining us, and also Jimmy Rogers back up here with the preview of Saturday's matchup against Virginia. But we're excited to be joined for the first time here on the Cougar Football Hour by WSU offensive coordinator Danny Frey. Danny, thanks for being here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I just had a chicken sandwich from the Lumberyard, so we're good and ready to watch some volleyball tonight after this. So
It's perfect timing. Head right over to Bowler after this. You know the Cougar way, and it's only first year for you and everyone on the staff, but you got that down. Okay, life in Pullman. How is it here? First year at WSU and being part of the Cougar football program.
Yeah, it's been awesome. There's so much tradition here to be able to coach quarterbacks and call plays, and with the tradition that this place has had and the staff coming over from South Dakota State. I just think that the community's been really, really welcoming. My family loves it here. It's been a great 9-10 months of adjusting, and now we kind of get into the season. We're rolling, but it's been a great adjustment. We're happy to be here and excited to be Cougs.
When Jimmy Rogers calls you and says, hey, this WSU opportunity is happening, you want to come with, what are the first things you thought about when you're aware of WSU football? What went through your mind when you thought about the Cougars?
Yeah, I mean, there was some awareness when the job opened up, knowing Coach Rogers, the trajectory that he was on was one of the reasons we decided to kind of join him and leave UND, a place that I played at and we loved and were there 13 years, but just the growth opportunity to go to South Dakota State and then, have the opportunity to come here. It was a lot of excitement. Obviously, the relationships that you have at all the places you're at, it's tough to leave those kids. And we loved Brookings, too. We were only there for 10, 11 months. Built a house there and then sold it. And then, so it's kind of crazy. We were fortunate to be at one place for so long, a place we love. But I think the opportunity to continue to grow as a coach and as a person and elevate and coach at the highest level is something you always dreamed of and want. So just glad my family's on board and they're happy to be along on the journey. It's been really, really fun so far.
Being in Grand Forks at the University of North Dakota, a big part of your life, your football life, your professional life. Walk us through that path, because I know football's in your blood, on how your football journey ultimately brought you here, but where it began.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Wisconsin. My dad was a high school coach. He's in the Hall of Fame in the high school ranks there. He was a college coach for a few years at Western Michigan. I was born in Kalamazoo, Michigan, actually. But yeah, I had the opportunity to go to the University of North Dakota out of high school. It was like my only scholarship offer. They were a Division II school at the time. Ended up starting my last 2 years. We went Division I my last year, so I had a great experience there and moved back there in 2011 to start coaching and met my wife, and we had a great run. Yeah, so that's a special place for us. All three of our kids that are here tonight were born there. But yeah, to have the opportunity to play quarterback in college, kind of like Zebie, you're a 6-foot quarterback, kind of under. You want to go to Wisconsin, you want to go to Michigan when you're growing up. You don't get recruited to those places, but you ultimately end up falling in love with the place that you're at. And really, in the era of like the transfer portal and stuff, I'm really proud that I was at one school for 4.5 years and went through some adversity, didn't play right away, stuck it through, and then those last couple of years were really rewarding. Have a lot of lifelong friends. Actually, 3 of my teammates came to the Ole Miss game last week, flew down, played some golf on Friday in Memphis, and then just to see those guys, hadn't seen them in a couple of years, but they were so proud, and it was a really cool moment to have those guys there. So, yeah, I mean, I think college sports is awesome. It brings, you have a lot of relationships, but to be able to affect 18 to 23-year-olds every day, and they kind of keep you young, but to be around those kids, and it's a great experience.
Yeah, those bonds, they run deep. And with that, for you, you talked about your dad being a coach. Did you always know you were going to be a coach? Did you ever kind of mentally fight it, being like, nah, I've seen what it's like, or was it always, hey, that's the path I'm going towards?
Yeah, I think I just naturally, that's what I was always happiest doing, was being around football. So I think I was going to coach one way or the other, whether it was high school or college. I think once I got done playing, I was like, didn't know what I wanted to do. And then you kind of just, let's go coach football and kind of get back into it. I had a real job for like a year, working in accounting or banking, whatever I was doing. It was awful. 8 to 5, you're sitting at a computer, just thinking about sports. It's like, so you got out of that and kind of, it's good to get out of the system, I guess, when you're that young and you're not married yet. But yeah, I think it's been a great journey, and it's brought us here to Pullman, and we're so excited to be here and continue to grow and build this thing.
Well, that's great to hear. So that 1 year, so was it accounting or banking, or you just blocked it out enough that you?
Man, I was gonna go to Wisconsin to be a GA for Paul Christ. He was there at the time, and then ended up falling through. They gave it to like a defensive guy. So I was in my parents' house living there after college. They're like, you got to get a job. So one of my dad's old players was like a CFO at this transportation company. So I ended up working with him for almost a year and coached high school football, and then just ended up not doing that anymore after that and got into the college ranks.
I think it probably makes you appreciate, you work long days. College coaches work long days, but it probably never feels like a true day of work, right?
No, I mean, I guess the spreadsheets we were doing, you get the game plans on these spreadsheets. So I think some of the guys are like, how are you so good at Excel? So that may be an advantage there, but that's probably about it.
That's too funny. Well, we'll take a break. We're chatting with WSU offensive coordinator Danny Frey. More with him after this. You are tuned in to the Cougar Football Hour, live from the Lumberyard in downtown Pullman here on the Cougar Sports Network.
Imagine waking up in a place where spectacular views change every day, where unforgettable memories are made every night, and where the journey is far more fun than your destination. Now stop imagining and go RVing. Coach Walden here for my friends at Valley RV Supercenter in Kent, the Northwest premier Jayco dealer, the affordable RV dealer and proud sponsor of Cougar football. So whether it's a family weekend on the coast, a winter in the desert, or a tailgate party in the Palouse, your journey begins at ValleyRVSupercenter.com.
As proud Cougs, we always find our way back home. At McVeigh Brothers, we want to help all Cougs improve the value of your home. Hello, I'm Mike McVeigh from McVeigh Brothers Roofing, Siding, and Windows, a proud supporter of Cougar Athletics. The team of professionals at McVeigh Brothers take great pride in helping our customers remodel their homes with new entry doors, rain gutters, siding, roofing, and windows. At McVeigh Brothers, we're working for you.
Your audio home for all things Cougar Athletics is the Washington State Cougar Podcast Channel. Just search for Washington State Cougars on your favorite podcast platform to follow and subscribe to the official podcast home of the Cougs. Hear our original WSU Athletics podcast, plus replays from the Cougar Sports Network, including football pregame and postgame show coverage, full football game broadcast, and coaches shows. Find it all by searching for Washington State Cougars on your favorite podcast platform to start listening today.
Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes every moment cheering on your team even better. Plus, the mountains on the bottles and cans turn blue when your beer is Rocky Mountain cold. So you never have to guess if your Coors Light is ready to drink. So crack one open, take a sip, and enjoy the game. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is the Cougar Football Hour. Tonight's show is presented by Crimson and Gray. Visit them at 1096 Southeast Bishop Boulevard in Pullman, or find them at every Cougar Football Hour this season. Crimson and Gray, proud supporter of Cougar Athletics. Once again, back to the Lumberyard Food Hall in downtown Pullman. Here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
The Junior Cougs Kids Club. It is presented by Toyota. It is the official kids club of the Washington State Cougars, and it is the best way for the youngest members of Cougar Nation to show off their Cougar pride. Find out more information about your Junior Cougs membership perks at wsucougars.com/JRCougs. Washington State heading to Charlottesville this week. Saturday's game will get started at 3:30. We'll have all the action on the Cougar Sports Network. Our pregame coverage with Derek Dice and Billy Newman will come your way at 1:30 with the Coors Light Cougar Tailgate Show. Again, a little later on the show, we'll be rejoined by the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers, preview the matchup with Virginia. Zebie Ehouse will be up in our following segment, but here we are back with the offensive coordinator of the Cougs, Danny Frey. And Danny, let's kind of get a breakdown here of the offense. And let's start at quarterback. We've got Zebie here tonight. We've seen the evolution of the depth chart at the position this season. How would you describe being in the spot where the team is at now with Zebie starting and leading the team the last 3 games?
Yeah, you can see the growth the last 3 games. I mean, starting with his first start, the Washington game here in Pullman, kind of going with those guys toe-to-toe, score for a little bit there, and just kind of getting confidence, and that led into the Colorado State game. In the last 2 games, we've been able to take care of the football, have no turnovers, and really play a good brand of football. Obviously, we want to score more points, but you can kind of see us getting better and improving, and we want to be playing our best football down the stretch. But a lot of that has to do with the quarterback and just the urgency with which he prepares and leads the team, not only on Saturday, but it's throughout the week. It's how he approaches practice and the urgency and the accountability he has for the guys around him. And that's not just in team periods, that's in individual drills and everything. So it's been a joy to coach him. I've learned a lot from him, and he's doing a great job leading our team and elevating the play of everybody in that huddle.
In the off season into fall camp, it was a 4-man competition. So we know there's talent there and there's depth there, and some youngsters as well. Owen Eshelman comes to mind. How'd you say everything's going in that position group as a whole? Because I know it's tight. There's different skill sets in that group that has made up the quarterbacks this year. Yeah, we're fortunate to have the talent level that we have in that room. Obviously, you want them all to stay healthy and you want one guy to play, but it's tough, those guys that are continuing to develop. So the challenge for, Jackson and Julian and Johnny and Ash is to continue to prepare like they are the guy, because you never really know. But I've been pleased with those guys. Obviously, Jackson started the year and played well in spots, and obviously we made the change. But they're all great kids, and I think they bring a lot as far as their personalities and the way they work and the love they have for this place, even just being transfers. I think that the guys that have come in really enjoy Pullman, enjoy being a Coug, and excited to coach those guys, obviously continue to develop them. And a lot of, when Zebie graduates, we're going to, obviously have a battle in the spring here for the next one. So it's been a joy to coach and just continue to develop those guys. Let's talk about the guys up front, the offensive line. Saw Jalen Caldwell have to pinch hit for Christian Hilborn last week in the Ole Miss game. Besides that, been pretty good continuity on the offensive line. What have you liked most from that group? Yeah, I think naturally, I think the pass protection has been really good. And in the past, I think, guys with Christian and Brock that have been able to do that. But you see, Tripp stepping up. I just think the overall growth every week, I think with the confidence of just playing in games, there's no substitute for game experience. And the opponents that we've played, I think the fronts, you talk about playing in Washington, even San Diego State had a really good D-line. And to be able to go down to Ole Miss last week and play against that SEC front, those creatures that could really move around, I think you gain confidence from that. And to be able to run the football like we've done the last couple of weeks against good teams, I think it stems from just practice habits and the continuance of focusing on details in practice and in meetings and really trying to hone in on what we're good at, simplifying some things in the run game and just letting those guys go play fast and play confident. The run game, you mentioned that. Those 4 guys have been kind of that combination there of Kirby Voorhees, Angel Johnson, Leo Pulalasi, and Maxwell Woods. How would you assess where things are at with the run game? It feels like the trend is really going in the right direction. Yeah, hopefully it keeps going that way, right? We'd like to, continue to run the ball better every week and continue to rush for more and more yards. And I think it's important on first down to really, get 4, 5, 6 yard gains, and that really helped us last game. Our efficiency on first down, getting 5+ yards was really good, and that allowed us to be in 3rd and shorts and continue to move the sticks and really play keep away from really good opponents. When offenses are good on the other side, the best defense is sometimes us keeping the ball and finding a way to churn out first downs and bleed the clock. But yeah, those guys are really good players. Kirk does a great job. I just think that it's hard sometimes when there's 4 of them, and it's hard to get into a rhythm and really get touches. So I'm proud of the way they've come in and competed when they have got their opportunities. And obviously Kirby stepped up last week, and he'll continue to get more and more of the workload as we go forward. But all those guys are capable, and they practice really hard, and we're fortunate to have them. Great seeing that 46-yard touchdown from Kirby Voorhees last week. Between the wide receivers and the tight ends, a number of weapons between those 2 groups. Josh Meredith, Tony Freeman having an outstanding year, Jeremiah Noga, some of the veterans leading the way. I feel like you've got a lot of options when it comes to spreading the ball around. Yeah, I think that's important. I think the balance that you have in terms of using different threats and different skill positions is really important. Proud of Josh, and T. Free kind of leading that receiver room. The way they practice every day and the way they prepare, I think, shows up on Saturday. There's a certain consistency with the way they go about it and how fast they practice. So really proud of those guys. And, the whole receiver room. Obviously, Landon gets the one last week, and, Noga had one against Colorado State. But just that group collectively,
I think Coach Menich has done a great job with those guys of bringing them along and continuing to develop depth there. And then at tight end, I think if you really watched that Ole Miss film last week, like Trey, Lechner, and Mola and those guys, the way they blocked and competed, Coach Rogers was up here talking about our effort, but I don't know if anybody played as hard as those tight ends last week. And you know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're getting the ball the whole time in the pass game. So to be able to play like that without the ball and just compete for each other and play together, it allowed a lot of those runs to happen. So, yeah, I think those guys are, integral part of what we're trying to do. We'll just try to continue to get creative to use them in any way we can.
Coming up this week, Virginia, the opponent. They've had a really impressive season. They're ranked as the number 18 team in the country. A lot of folks were tuned in when they had that dramatic win at home over Florida State. How's it been preparing to go up against this Virginia defense this week?
Yeah, we were tuned in too, and that crowd storm was like the ultimate crowd storm.
I was a little worried for some of those Florida State players.
These players, like they're official, they got buried. It was just like the ultimate. So we're not hoping to see that. I don't know if they'll storm the field, they beat us, but we're gonna. That's a cool setup, unbelievable atmosphere that we're gonna be able to play in homecoming for them. But I tell you what, they play hard on defense, and I'm sure they play hard on offense too. Their D-line is a bunch of seniors that play really hard. They have transfers all over the place on defense. I think that's really where it starts. They have, I think the depth that they have up front, it creates issues, whether it's in the run game or the pass game, for us being able to protect. And they got some guys that can run on the back end. So it'll be a tough challenge, and I don't think we're going to sneak up on them after our performance last week. I'm sure they were sitting at home watching that game. But I tell you what, I think when the lights come on, I really like our offense and our group with how they go compete. And I think they're gaining confidence with playing against good defenses in big-time moments, whether it's, the last couple weeks. So I think we got to be emotionally ready. I think that was the message. We took care of their bodies this week physically, but I think we have to start fast and be emotionally ready to go and focused, and it'll be a good four-quarter game for us.
No better transition than to have Zebie Ehouse as our next guest. Danny, appreciate you being here. Thanks so much, and excited for this one Saturday, and excited for the rest of the season as well.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Go Cougs.
Again, that is offensive coordinator for WSU, Danny Frey, joining us here at the Lumberyard in downtown Pullman. It is the Cougar Football Hour. When we come back, Zebie Ehouse, WSU quarterback, will join us, and a little bit later on, we'll have Jimmy Rogers back up here as we'll preview Saturday's game with Virginia. More after this break. You're listening to the Cougar Sports Network.
Play, stay, get away at Clearwater River Casino in Lewiston, Idaho. Owned and operated by the Nez Perce Tribe. Experience Namipu hospitality with 600 gaming machines, comfortable lodging, dining, and sports bar. Excitement is everywhere. The region's premier destination for events and entertainment. Win big with unforgettable concerts, comedy shows, and live sports action. Discover your next play, stay, get away. Visit crcasino.com and start your adventure today.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. The deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
Dear Traction, Toyota has 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. The RAV4 has legendary versatility. The Grand Highlander's adult-sized third row is for real. And the Tacoma's wild side comes standard. From job sites to campsites and game nights, there's an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive Toyota to get you there in style. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Back at the Lumberyard in downtown Pullman, it is the Cougar Football Hour. It is the Virginia Week edition of the Cougar Football Hour. No lack of juice here at the Lumberyard, and so much of it is coming from the gentleman to my right. We are joined by the quarterback for Washington State, Zebie Ehouse. Let's hear it for Zebie. Welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Excited for this game against Virginia.
No doubt.
And just fired up about what's to come for the team. This is the halfway point of the season, and maybe there's more beyond the 6 games left on the schedule when you factor in Saturday. But I know Coug fans everywhere excited about this recent stretch, the victory over Colorado State.
Yep.
Obviously not the win, but the performance, the effort against Ole Miss. And, you know, here we are, and I'm thinking about you, and you've been on the field in your Cougar career for some big moments, some interesting opportunities.
For sure.
I think back to the Holiday Bowl, and that was a shorthanded Cougar squad, and how you were part of that team that helped to rally and ultimately didn't get the win, but a really strong performance in that game against Syracuse, a top 25 team. Then this year, your first start ends up being in the Apple Cup.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
right.
there's the game last week against number 4 Ole Miss, coming basically an eyelash short of knocking them off. How do you look back on all that has unfolded in your time here at Pullman at WSU?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Definitely nothing that I could have imagined, you know, going into it. Obviously, when I went into the portal, you know, obviously you want the best for yourself, but it's kind of hard to picture how everything will go, and there is no way that I could have pictured, you know, everything going the way that it's, you know, been so far. But ultimately, just really blessed, you know, really blessed to be able to be here, be with, you know, these type of people, be in this environment, be in a culture, a tradition that, you know, cares so much about one another. I think that's really a blessing. I believe God doesn't make any mistakes, and I know I'm supposed to be here right now, you know, with all these people.
Well, you're steeped in crimson and gray at this point, but that wasn't always the case. You started your college career out at Bryant. I know you've kind of told this story before, but as you look back on it, how did that path lead you to being here at WSU and ultimately being on the team last year and now being in the spot where you're the starting quarterback for the Cougs?
Yeah, I mean, my whole college career has been, you know, quite interesting. Even high school, you know, at times feeling like I was overlooked. When I got into the portal, I felt like I was overlooked. But, you know, Washington State took a chance on me. Forever grateful for that. And it might have been the last staff, but it's also this staff that believed in me too, to be able to go out there and you know, display my performances and the teammates that we've had, you know, within the past year and a half, with the transfer portal and, you know, losing the coaching staff and getting new players, just having their trust and faith in me. That's really helped me as an individual grow, and helped me as a player for sure.
The words that we've heard already tonight and that have been used to describe you many, many times. We've heard it from Jimmy Rogers. We've heard it from Danny Frey. Confidence, command, leadership, moxie. Has that always been the case? Would that have been used to describe Zebie Ehouse as a 5-year-old, or did that develop over time?
No, I was kind of a softie growing up. My mom, raised by my mom, God bless her heart. I was a big mama's boy, you know, and when things didn't go well, you know, she just wanted to make sure I was feeling good. So even if I played bad, she'd be like, oh, no, it wasn't your fault, you know, or if I was down or if I was sad, you know, my mom has always kind of been there for me. So it took some time to definitely grow into that, you know, that person that I am today. But yeah, I wouldn't have been there without her, that's for sure.
Well, how does a self-described softie become a guy who is dragging SEC defenders out on the field last Saturday?
Because Mom was there. Mom was in attendance. Mom was in attendance there, cheering me on. She made the travel down with my younger brother. I got another younger brother who I asked if he wanted to come to the game. He was like, nah, I got a game myself. I was like, bro, go ahead, play your game. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's got to enjoy his own journey. So had a couple family members down there cheering me on. And then, of course, the whole entire Cougar Nation that came down was probably louder than the whole entire Ole Miss crowd. So we had a lot of people cheering us on as we were going to make our performances.
Does Mom get credit? I know you got attention, and it was a cool thing for the Holiday Bowl last year. You had your In-N-Out socks. Did Mom get credit for that?
She deserves all the credit. She was the one who got me the socks. It was about a day or two before the game, and I just kind of thought of it. And I was like, hey, Mom, do you think you can get these socks? So she went to a store, and they were like, yeah, we don't sell them here. You'd have to buy them online. And I don't know what Moms figure things out. I don't know how they do it. Moms are superheroes. She found a way to get a shipment within a day to get to her, and then she drove to the hotel, dropped them off like 20 minutes before our bus took off. Yeah, she's Superwoman. So, yeah, she gets all the credit for those socks showing up.
If there was a game in California this year, would they make a reappearance? Is that kind of the criteria?
They might. They might. I don't want to get anybody hopes up. They might. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell.
We'll keep our eyes peeled for that. This season, so obviously the performance against Ole Miss, that really impressive win over Colorado State, the Apple Cup. But I know for you, you didn't start the season as the starter.
Right.
How is that? Dealing with that, and you're being a great teammate, but also being ready for when that opportunity comes, when your number is called, and it was, and making the most out of that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's tough when you don't go out there and what you would originally envision for yourself is happening. But I mean, that's just life, you know. And you know, besides for me, I'm one individual. I got 105 plus teammates who. You know, want to go out there and play. And, you know, the truth of the matter is there's 11 guys that are on the field at all times. And there are a lot of guys right now that want to be playing. And I don't think that I'm any better or any greater, you know, than them. So I felt like I owed it to myself and to my teammates to continue to just be the person that I am and the player that I am. And like you said, if the opportunity presents itself, you got to capitalize. I think that's the biggest thing. And that's something Coach Rogers talked with me about is something that would hurt more than not getting an opportunity is getting an opportunity and not capitalizing. So that was just the biggest thing for me to kind of keep me motivated and keep me going. You know, now we're here and we're rolling.
Yeah, well said. And a big opportunity this weekend on the road against Virginia. And can't wait to see everyone back at Giesa Field. I know it's going to end up being a little over a month between the Apple Cup and the Toledo game. But
some time.
It's going to be so awesome. And we'll be talking about that next week on the Cougar Football Hour for the home game and all the Cougs back at Giesa Field. Okay, for you, what are you studying when it comes to what keeps you busy in the classroom?
Right now I am getting my master's in strategic communication. It's just work that I got to get done throughout the week. There's no, you know, Zoom classes or in-person classes, which is nice. But obviously the workload is, you know, it's enough to keep me busy outside of football. So I'm at the facility, and if I'm not at the facility, I'm at home doing schoolwork, just, you know, hanging out with my teammates. That's how I stay occupied.
Okay, so when your eligibility runs out and when it's next, is it play football as long as you can, and then what potentially from there?
Would love to be like an analyst or a broadcaster. Very, you know, interested in, you know, doing things like this or just, you know, the game of football itself. I feel like, you know, Coach Frey kind of talked about it earlier. He worked a job 8 to 5, kind of hated it, just thought about football. I can see myself, you know, being in a similar position. So would love to just stay around the game of football.
You seem like a natural. You're not phased up here at all.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You sound good. I think you got a future in front of you there. But we're excited about the future in front of you in a Cougar uniform the rest of this season. What has you most excited about what is in front of the team, not only Saturday with the challenge, but the opportunity of playing the number 8 team in the nation on the road, but what is to come for these next 6 games?
Yeah, just like you said, opportunities to keep growing and keep getting better. I think, you know, it's cool to see how far you've come from week 1 to week 12, and obviously, you know, we're approaching week 7, and you got to stay in that moment. But it's cool to see the growth individually and as a team, you know, that we've been able to make week by week, and I'm really excited to see us take another step this week in Virginia.
Well said. Anything? I know you were very eloquent talking to Alex Brink after the game, and you're always very eloquent in your press conferences. Anything else you'd want to say? Because I know, you know, being a Coug, you're proud to represent WSU. Anything else you want everyone here at the Lumberyard to know, and for folks listening and watching, about what it means to be in your position as the quarterback of this team?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, being a quarterback of a school that holds so much value, one would think that there's a lot of pressure put on that individual, but if you know anything about the Cougars and just how much they care about each other, you would know that there's no pressure that comes with my position. You guys make it so easy for me to do what I do and to be able to push, you know, my teammates and, you know, fans and everybody that I'm associated with. You guys do an incredible job. I have people texting me nonstop, whether it's a win, a loss, even when I didn't get the opportunity to start. Just always texting me and making sure that, you know, I'm in a good place. And I think that's one thing that doesn't maybe always gets said about Cougs is no matter what you're going through, they're always there for each other. And I think that's what separates them from everybody else. So I appreciate you guys. We're going to need your support in Virginia. We're going to need your support, you know, back here in Pullman. Keep supporting us. Keep bringing energy. I promise we hear all that stuff, and it means the world to us. So thank you. Go Cougs.
You're a great representative for the Cougs. Zebie, thanks for being here. Best of luck coming up on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Again, that is Zebie Ehouse, WSU quarterback, stopping by here on the Cougar Football Hour. We'll take another break. When we come back, we'll be rejoined by the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers, as we have our preview of Saturday's game against Virginia. You're listening to the Cougar Football Hour Hour on the Cougar Sports Network.
Get game day ready at Rosars. Rosars is a proud sponsor of WSU Athletics and your headquarters for keeping snacks stocked up for game time. You'll find the largest craft beer selection, local and imported wines, and all the makings for your favorite cocktails. And while you're there, stock up on your favorite deli snacks, pizza, rotisserie chickens, and ribs. Don't just watch the game, experience it with your favorite game time foods. Get game day ready at Rosars.
If you use natural gas, you recognize its blue flame. But natural gas is actually invisible and odorless. That's why Avista adds a rotten egg scent in case there's ever a leak. If you smell natural gas at home, get outside fast. Don't flip switches or do anything to cause a spark. Go somewhere safe. Call 911. Then Avista. We'll take care of the problem and tell you when it's okay to return. Till then, it's a good excuse to visit the neighbors. Avista. We just want you to be safe.
Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes every moment cheering on your team even better. Plus, the mountains on the bottles and cans turn blue when your beer is Rocky Mountain cold. So you never have to guess if your Coors Light is ready to drink. So crack one open, take a sip, and enjoy the game. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Download the WSU Cougars mobile app today, which features the latest news. Plus, it's your way to stream all of our Cougar Sports Network radio broadcasts. Listen to Cougar football, volleyball, men's and women's basketball, baseball game broadcast, plus coaches shows, all for free with WSU Cougars Game Day app. Take our broadcast with you wherever you go. Available now by searching WSU Cougars Game Day in the Apple App Store or Google Play.
The Lumberyard in downtown Pullman. It is the Cougar Football Hour, and it is time for the opponent preview presented by Coors Light. Choose chill, proud partner of Cougar Athletics. Celebrate responsibly. Let's dive into this week's matchup. We are rejoined by the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers. Okay, on the road against Virginia, the number 18 team in the country. They especially turned a lot of heads back on Friday, September 26, when they knocked off Florida State. Cavaliers have won 4 straight entering this matchup. From what you've seen, what's allowed them to have this kind of success this year?
I think the quarterback does a really good job. It kind of runs through him. He's a veteran player that takes advantage of the weapons that he has on the outside. They got really, really good speed, and they're big up front, so they're able to control the ball a little bit in the run game, but have the ability to go fast and have tempo, and then the quarterback does a great job when things aren't open or when things break down, being able to make plays with his legs.
Chandler Morris, their quarterback, he was at North Texas. He's been in a number of spots, TCU, Oklahoma, a veteran guy. And well, you look at their two deep, and that seems to be a theme, as it is seniors, grad students all over their two deep on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, they're really deep. And then, Danny kind of hit on this earlier, but just their D-line and the depth that they have on defense is impressive. They play hard on both sides of the ball, and they're really physical. So it's going to be a great matchup. We're excited for the opportunity, and we're going to go down there and compete.
Really good running backs for them, too. Jamari Taylor kind of leads that group, averaging 77 yards per game. But they have some guys, you look, some guys over 3,000 yards rushing, another guy over 2,000 yards rushing. They've got some weapons in the run game.
Yeah, they do. And, everything, I think, in the run game always starts from the bigs up front. They're big up front, and they're physical, and they do a good job of working together. And, you can see it just with their backs.
We will take another break here. We'll have more with the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers. After this timeout, you're tuned in to the Cougar Football Hour on the Cougar Sports Network.
This Washington State University sports broadcast is brought to you in part by Pullman Regional Hospital, the official hospital of Washington State Athletics. Rural communities face unique healthcare challenges. By providing hands-on opportunities for WSU students in health sciences, nursing, pharmacy, and the Elson S. Floyd College of Medicine, Pullman Regional Hospital is helping to shape the future of local healthcare. Learn more at pullmanregional.org. Pullman Regional Hospital and Washington State, partners in excellence.
So yeah, I used to be the Headless Horseman's go-to jack-o'-lantern. We'd haunt the countryside, spook the townsfolk, legendary stuff. But then he heard about Northern Quest's $60,000 Heads Will Roll giveaway. Yeah, I know. And now he's off using his Camas card to rack up entries for the $30,000 grand prize on October 30th. Dude won't even text me back now. Then again, ghosting is kind of his thing. The Heads Will Roll giveaway, only at Northern Quest.
Progressive knows there's so many great things about being a sports fan. Like scoring the company box seats. How great is that? Trick plays that actually work. Prevent defense when your team is winning by a lot. And even more preventative prevent defense as they're hanging on by a thread. And of course, saving money when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's pretty great. Just like trick plays that actually work.
Yeah, but how often does that happen?
Complaining about sports, not so great. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Dear Traction, Toyota has 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. The RAV4 has legendary versatility. The Grand Highlander's adult-sized third row is for real. And the Tacoma's wild side comes standard. From job sites to campsites and game nights, there's an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive Toyota to get you there in style. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
We are back at the Lumberyard in downtown Pullman. It is the Cougar Football Hour. Washington State getting ready to travel to Charlottesville. 3:30 kickoff on Saturday. Our coverage here on the Cougar Sports Network with Derek Dice and Billy Newman will get started at 1:30. Here we are back with Jimmy Rogers. Coach, there was a heck of an environment last week. It made me start to think, it was the best road environment that you have ever coached in.
Yeah, I would say when I was a graduate assistant at FAU, we played Georgia and Alabama in the same year, and I would say Georgia's environment was awesome. It was loud the entire game, and you couldn't hear much. So we were in the press box. We couldn't even hear each other at times. It's like it was deafening, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah, that is a unique one. You're knocking off some SEC schools then between what
well,
last week and your time at FAU.
Yeah, we lost there too.
Oh, just in places that you've been and experiences that you had. So well, excited for well, of course, the environment here at Giesa Field, but for all the ones you'll get experience in Crimson and Gray. Still to come.
I'm excited for that.
Well, Saturday against Virginia. Here we go, Coach. We'll call it a day here, but excited to chat with you next on the pregame show for that matchup against Virginia.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Not only a big thank you to Jimmy Rogers, the head coach of the Cougs, but to all of our guests this week, offensive coordinator Danny Frey and quarterback Zebie Ehouse. A big thanks to all the folks who make it possible on both the video and audio side to bring you the Cougar Football Hour. Zane Saggio back in our Cougar Sports Network studios. Jared Pringruber on the video side. A reminder, if you don't catch it live, you can watch the show back on the WSU Cougars YouTube page. And a huge thanks tonight for Eric Snyder doing a great job of pinch hitting for Jerry Kylo, making it happen on the audio side. Once again, Saturday, 3:30 kickoff. Cougs on the road against number 18 Virginia. Can't wait to talk to you then. I'm Chris King signing off. You've been tuned in to the Cougar Football Hour live here from the Lumberyard on the Cougar Sports Network. Go Cougs!